G'day guys, Ben and Simon here from Pumped On Property. I just wanted to put a huge disclaimer on today's video because there's a very strong chance that Simon and I are going to be ranting and raving after or by the end of this video.
It should be a positive video at the end of the day because we do believe that everyone was born to be financially free. But I think there's just a lot of things that hold us back from being able to make that a reality in the current world that we live in. We'll try and keep it light and positive, but you never know how these things are going to go.
So where the idea for this one came off for me is, me obviously being me and thinking about these things deeply over time. But I read a book a couple of years ago, and the idea in the book that obviously outside of the spiritual traditions people have is that our job while we're here on earth is to become the highest and the best versions of ourselves in this lifetime.
And the reality to that is, there is a financial aspect to the lives that we live. You need to put a roof over your head and that costs money. You need to put food in your belly and that costs money. You need, all of the other things that we want in life. So if you want to live your highest and best life and become your highest and best self, you need to take control of your financial situation. It's not necessarily the best thing to do to just retreat to the mountains like some of these monks do and just not actually contribute to society in any way, shape or form. So we look at it as more of a more well-rounded understanding. Yes, it's financially, but it's also physically and spiritually and with those relationships, just having all of those things the way that you want them to be so that you can actually live a happy and fulfilled life.
For those of you that have been following us over the last 9 years, you've probably heard consistently over that period of time that our belief and my belief has always been that the sooner you can figure out the financial side of your life and achieve freedom, the sooner you can do exactly what you're here to be doing, and you can turn from, really blatantly, just for me personally, at least in my journey, all I could see when I was in survival mode and in fear mode and in not knowing where my next cent's going to come from or my next dollar and not knowing what the future was going to hold for me financially. And obviously we still don't. It can come and it can go like that. But
the last 12 months is a good example of that, right?
100%. But this idea that when you replace your income and when you can choose to go to work tomorrow or not, or to start that business or to stop that business, then you get to elevate up. And as per Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you can get to that point where you're mainly focusing on self-actualization, and self-actualization is actually the wrong idea. It's us actualization, and it's helping the next generation of people up, and it's pulling your friends, your family members, your kids up to your vibration and where you're going so that things get better in the world. And the engineers and the doctors and the lawyers and the people like us listening to these videos that have skills that society can benefit from, instead of trading that skill for $100 or $300 or $1 million a year like our clients do, they can trade that skill with serving people and helping communities and volunteering their times and working in non-for-profits and taking those ideas to the world and making things better. And this is what this is really about. It's achieve financial freedom as soon as you can so that you can become the best version of yourself and you can help the world become its true self as well.
I really think it's the truth, because we've talked to thousands of investors, and everybody's goal, literally every single investor that you talk with, their goal is to become financially free. It's to generate a passive income so that they've got choices to do what they want when they want. And a question that I always ask is, what will you do once you've reached this goal? And most of them are of service.
100%.
Especially the people that we end up working with and align with on a values perspective. They are planning to get free so that they can be of service to other people. I think that's a beautiful thing. And it's a thing that came up in the back of my mind there as well was remembering that Harvard study that they did on happiness, where they actually looked at the amount of money that you need to earn and how much happiness that was going to bring. And I think when it was done, it was about $75,000 per year. Anything above that isn't necessarily going to make you any happier. So, this is where the idea of 100,000 Australian dollars per year will give you the financial freedom that you want. And there is people out there listening to this that are earning $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 right now. And that's awesome. And if you want to replace that income, absolutely go for it. But just know that like, even if you were to just get to $100,000 worth of passive income, you will then have the freedom in your life and the happiness in your life to actually move into this like self-actualization where you're just acting of service and you're living in alignment with that like ikigai, you know, that you recently had that new show on Netflix come out, the Centurions, the 100-year people. And like in Japan, they have this idea of ikigai, which is like your passion, your purpose in life, what gets you out of bed every single day. And you talk to these people that are in their 90s or over 100 years of age, and they still work every single day. Nobody has an intention to retire. There's not even a word for retirement. It's just they're doing what they were put on this planet to do. They're doing what they're passionate about. They're doing what provides them with purpose in their life. And I'm just like, if we can get more people to that place, we're going to be living longer. We're going to be living happier. We're going to be surrounding ourselves with amazing people, an amazing community. And it's just like, I want to know what that world looks like. I really want to know what that world looks like.
You know, I love that. And to like tactically break this down into, okay, cool, like I've got a vision of replacing $100,000 a year of passive income in my future. And, you know, well, how do we step that out? So the first step is to go, what is my goals for the next 12 months? Well, there's only two things you can ever do as an investor. You're either saving a deposit or you're buying a property.
Keep
and
it simple.
Is it. And so it's like, where do you sit on that category? Cool, you're saving money or you're looking to buy something. Sweet. So then we go, well, where do I want to be 15 years from now? I want my 100K per year of passive income. Well, the next step then is to go, how many properties do I need to achieve this? I talked to a guy yesterday that thought he needed 5. I showed him with 2 houses, one simple high quality single income home and one simple high quality dual income home, how he would have $110,000 per year of passive income in the future. And for those of you who are more interested in going deeper into that idea, you can look at our 2 Properties to Financial Freedom strategy on YouTube or on the podcast. And then we go, all right, cool. I know where I want to be 12 months from now. I know where I want to be longer term. Then there's this journey in between. And what most of us, myself included, like for so long, I was so focused on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing that I completely missed the present, like this gift, which is this moment. And so I think the most important thing for everybody to do is go out there and in a safe way, in a structured way, working with your accountant, your financial advisors, your solicitors, your building and pest people, safely accumulate the properties as quickly as you can. For some people, that could be a year. For some of you, it could be the next 6 months. For others, it could be 1 now and 1 in 10 years. But safely accumulate them and then enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey.
Like Simon and I have both achieved what we call financial peace, and that is we've bought the properties that will make us free in the future. Now we've got this massive time delay because we're both in a lot of debt where we've got to pay it off. And instead of busting our ass for the next 15 years and hoping that we get there and thinking that's going to make us happy at that point, we both chose to take Fridays off. We're both taking more holidays over the course of a year. We're both doing the things that bring us joy on a week-to-week basis in our lives.
And I think being conscious with the strategy or the way that you're going to become financially free is so important, you know, because 5 properties for most people can be quite, number one, challenging to accumulate and challenging to maintain. So it's like simplifying the process and trying to incorporate a strategy that allows you to live like the life that you want to live. 15 years is a long time. You don't want to sacrifice for 15 years straight and delay gratification for 15 years straight. So it's important to make sure that it's in alignment with your lifestyle so you can still do these things like take an extra day off per week or take an extra week's holidays every single year. Or for me, it's my addiction to buying new surfboards and being able to buy a new surfboard every single year because I don't want these properties to be such a financial drain on myself that I hate it. Like, I actually love property investing because I've strategically bought properties at the right time in the right markets that mostly pay for themselves with a manageable interest rate of around 4 to 5%. And, you know, knowing some years there's going to be hard years where it's costing me a little bit more money, but it's certainly going to be the minority of years over a 15-year period. And that's something that people forget. It's like they have this financial goal that they want to achieve and they sacrifice everything to get there. It's like, hang on a minute, let's just take a step back, take a 30,000 foot view and go, well, can I do to make sure that this isn't going to cost me my livelihood over that 15-year period between like starting and finishing? You know what I mean?
100%. Like I was spinning out the other day and I was talking to this absolute legend who's a client from down the Goldie, and he's like, Ben, just think about this for a second, bro. You're sitting on a spinning rock in space. And so like
the reality of the world.
On this journey to, which is, you know, for me, I've never, ever, ever been more in this journey that I am now. Like I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Like I want to help people. I want to live my best life. But I've also never at the same time been so detached and so calm with it all and so like accepting and surrendering. Like in my world, like my relationship with God has massively helped me with that. And, you know, everybody's got a different spiritual journey and that's completely cool. But just knowing that it's all going to be cool because it's always been okay, and that everything's happening is happening for a reason. And I feel like for you guys out there, it is super, super, super exciting to see, well, what if I was happy? What if I was healthy? What if I had great relationships? Like, what if I could travel when I wanted to travel? What if I was fully free? What if I did meaningful work or started that business? Like, what if I was surfing every single morning because that's what I wanted to do, or caravanning when I wanted to go away with my family? Like, what could your life look like if you got rid of all the stuff we've been taught, which you're sort of definitely referring to off camera at the start of the vid, and we just embraced like, this is an incredible opportunity to just like live our best lives now. And it takes time, and some moments are shit, some days are shit. I've had shocking years. Like as bad as that is to say, as such an optimistic person, I've had years that I felt like I was living my version of hell on earth. Like it was so hard. And now I look back, I'm like, that hard moments strengthened me so that I could do what I'm supposed to be doing now. Like we genuinely want the best for people, but fuck being scared forever.
Yeah.
Like let go of the fear, get educated and step into a strategy that's going to get you to where you want to be. Because as someone who has constantly like jumped out of planes but really just stepped off gutters, everything changes if you're prepared to sit in the uncomfortable emotions like you mentioned before and just go through them while the wind blows around you like it does a tree.
You really have to get comfortable being uncomfortable on this journey as well. And you can do that with the right habits, with the right, you know, mental practices as well. Like it's
morning routines,
consistency, waking up at the same time every day, going to bed at the same time every day, meditating, journaling, spending time doing the things that you love doing, spending time with the people that you love. Like it isn't rocket science. You can do that, and you got to just accept that change is going to be a part of the process. Like I feel some people just get so controlling and they just want to control everything in their life, and they're not willing to just let go and surrender to the process, which is a necessary part of the journey because there is so much out of our control. Like, you know, we've talked many times, it's like pre-interest rate rises, you know, you had a great passive income that gave you so many choices, and then, you know, the bank said that they're not going to rise interest rates until 2025, and then in 12 months, they've gone up 400 basis points, and you lose all of that passive income paying it straight to the banks. Like I went from saving, you know, a good amount of money, like $40,000, $50,000 per year, to then paying 100% of that to the bank and like just getting by because I've chosen this life. And I could get angry at the banks. I could get angry at these external organizations that are doing these things, but I've got no control over it. It's going to happen regardless. So I just got to accept that this is a part of the journey. This is a part of the process. Get your house in order and then just focus on, you know, the next thing, and knowing that this too shall pass. All four banks are saying that interest rates are coming down next year. It's going to happen and it's going to get a little bit easier. So just becoming accepting of the changing, like, external factors is so important, and just having that internal like strength to move through those times as well.
You know, I love that. I was looking literally in the last week at some of the articles that are coming out in the media at the moment.
Wow.
Like, it is incredibly positive. Like KPMG, Financial Review, Sydney Morning Herald, Domain, realestate.com, ABC, SBS, Phil, Simon, every single person that is early on this stuff has been, finally saying what we've been saying for a year and a half. Like, shit's going to turn in a positive way because it goes through cycles. You cannot have markets drop 12 to 15% and something positive not happen after that if you understand history like you do, which is why we encourage everyone to look back 100 years, 200 years, 300 years and see what happens. Like, one of my favorite quotes, which I'm always referring to, is like, there is nothing new under the sun. What has gone behind will come again. Like, it's this concept of like, as long as we're emotional beings versus like completely conscious ones that are just living in peace for each other, there's going to be like greed. Greed creates financial issues. Financial issues become financial opportunities for people that understand them. And so it's just going around the merry-go-round. And I keep thinking about that song by John Lennon, like the dad used to love, which is like, I'm just watching the wheels go round and round.
Sitting here watching the wheels go round and round. Yeah, love it.
I could never relate to that as a kid. And now I'm just like, oh shit, I'm going around like this. And this is how I talk about it with my psychologist over the last few years. You're going around in a circle, but you're going up a spiral staircase. So you're making progress where most people are on a merry-go-round here and they just can't get off because it's never stopping. And so it's like, which wheel are you going to be on? Yeah. I want to be on the wheel of choices, freedom, service, living my best life, financial freedom.
Getting a little bit better every day.
Or you get on the wheel of like, I can't do it. It's someone else's problem. This is too hard. Buying property is the fucking easiest thing you can ever do if you know the 400 rules of the game.
Yeah, and if you just got a longer term time horizon, like literally all of your problems would be solved if you took a just longer term perspective.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. They get so focused on the short term, the now, but then they forget that like, what's the saying? It's like people dramatically overestimate what they can do in a year, but dramatically underestimate what they can do in 10 years.
Look what you've done in the last 6 years, bro. Like,
never thought it was going to happen.
University student, on zero money, like driving to Queensland, borrowing petrol money from dad, to owning 4 incredibly high quality properties with great rents, great upside, with great LVRs in the best locations, because we looked at the entire market and from 400 suburbs we went, these look like gold. And then having the patience to wait 8 weeks to 6 months on every purchase to get the perfect one. And it's like, for people that are like that OCD like Simon and I are, that's what we do. We work with 2, maybe 3 people each week that want to get this stuff together, that want to get a plan, that want to really learn about the market, that want to get deeply educated on how to do this well, that want a world-class team of advisors, and that want us to become their long-term mentor and coach on their journey to firstly financial peace and then on to financial freedom. So if you are seriously thinking about buying an investment property in the next 12 months, Simon and I would love to offer you a one-on-one strategy session. Just jump over to www.pumpedonproperty.com, click that free strategy session button. We can talk about where you are right now, where you'd like to be longer term, what's going on with your vision for your future and the market right now. And then you can take that information and go and absolutely smash it on your own, or potentially become one of the 2, maybe 3 clients that we take on each week. But either way, we wish you absolutely all the best on your journey to financial freedom and financial peace in the future.
Woo! That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Getting
Have a
cool,
spin.
bro. Yeah. Oh, sweaty. So sweaty. Oh, that's good. Look at that.
So nice, eh?
Oh.